The first sound is not wind. It's the slow creak of a shutter arm clicking back into place. Elias Boone thought he'd captured a bear. Thick shoulders, dark fur, a shape lumbering through the underbrush. But as the film dries beside his desk lamp, he sees it standing upright. The room holds its breath. The shape in the photograph faces the camera directly, its eyes glinting with something cold, deliberate. A human posture, a knowing tilt of the head. Elias feels the temperature drop as he leans closer. The woods he thought he knew seem suddenly alive with intent. Somewhere outside, a dog starts barking, then goes quiet. The last thing Elias hears before the light flickers is his own voice whispering, "That's no bear." By morning, the fog lies thick across Cold Hollow's main road like a second skin. Elias walks into the diner clutching the photograph, the bell above the door breaking the hush. Sheriff Maynard Cole sits at the counter, stirring sugar into black coffee. Elias shows him the image. The sheriff glances once, twice, then lays it face down between them. "That's a bear," he says too quickly. But Elias hears it, the tremor behind the denial. Clara Whitlow watches from her corner table, chalk dust still on her hands from teaching at dawn. She knows the old stories. Men swallowed by the woods, sounds that mimic voices. The sheriff looks at her, then at Elias, and for a moment, no one breathes. Later, Elias walks the ridge where he placed the camera. Dew glistens on the leaves like cold glass. He retraces his steps, each crunch of dirt echoing too loud. The forest feels awake, aware of his trespass. His boots stop where the tripod stood, the metal legs twisted, one bent clean backward. No prints, no claw marks, just soil, smooth and heavy, as though pressed down by something large, standing upright. Elias kneels, brushing the dirt. A whisper, faint and breathless, slides through the trees. His name. He looks up. The forest is still. That evening, Elias brings the camera to Clara's classroom. The children's drawings of mountains and deer cover the chalkboard. She studies the broken tripod, her hands still dusted with white chalk. "This place doesn't forget," she murmurs. She tells him about the prospector hanged near Hollow Creek in 1904, accused of killing a miner and vanishing after. Some say his spirit never left, that he walks when the woods grow restless. Elias listens, skeptical but shaken. When he asks who the miner was, Clara hesitates. "Maynard Cole's father," she says quietly. Outside, the last light bleeds from the sky, and the wind changes. Night again. The camera clicks open, loaded with new film. Elias sets it on the same ridge, facing the hollow. He watches the trees sway and hears the slow, rhythmic thump of something heavy moving just beyond sight. The air tastes metallic. His breath shows pale in the dark. He steps back and waits. One flash, brilliant white, cuts through the night, searing the forest in frozen light. Then silence. The camera stops. Elias waits for a second flash. None comes. He leans closer. The flash bulb is cracked. In the lens, reflected by the starlight, stands a figure. Upright, motionless, staring back. The photo moves faster than rumor. By dawn, it's tacked above the notice board outside the post office, the paper curling in the damp air. Men on their way to the mine glance once and turn away. No one speaks. Elias stands across the street, watching their faces. Sheriff Maynard Cole arrives, tears it down and folds it into his coat pocket like something poisonous. "You got folks scared, Boone," he mutters. Elias wants to ask what's worse, the truth or pretending it isn't there. But the sheriff's eyes warn him to stop. That's when old Hollow Sam Dent shuffles up the road, muttering about things that walk wrong and the woods taking back what's owed. At the sheriff's office, the walls sweat with heat from the iron stove. Elias sits across from Cole as the clock ticks, loud and slow. You saw what I saw. Elias insists. Cole exhales through his nose, eyes fixed on the folded photo. You ever wonder why some things stay buried? He asks. Elias feels anger rise. You think this is about your father? The room falls still. Cole's jaw tightens. You let that camera of yours make ghosts out of shadows, Boone, he growls. But when he finally opens the drawer to hide the photograph, Elias catches a glimpse. Half a dozen others inside, each showing the same figure. Different nights, different victims. That evening, Elias returns to the diner where Clara waits. She has heard the whispers. Miners claiming they've seen something moving near Hollow Creek. You said you wanted the truth, she tells him softly. Then stop asking the sheriff. Ask the earth. She lays a small leather journal on the counter, its pages filled with old names, mining rosters, and a map marked with a red cross deep in the forest. They never buried that prospector proper, she says, and that's what the woods can't forgive. Elias runs a hand over the map's inked lines, realizing every trail leads back to where he left his camera. Night stretches long and restless. Elias dreams of the forest, trees bowing inward, branches forming ribs around a figure that isn't human. In the dream, it walks closer each time. The flash fires. He wakes before dawn, heart pounding, his hands already reaching for his coat. When he opens his door, there's something on the step. A strip of undeveloped film, damp and cold, wound tightly like a black serpent. Someone had been inside his cabin. He lifts the reel to the light. For a second, he sees the faintest image burned into it. Two eyes, level with his own. By morning, the town has decided it was a bear, nothing more. The men drink early, laughing too loud, as if volume could drown out memory. Sheriff Cole walks among them, nodding, reassuring, his pocket heavy with the photograph he swore to burn. But as he passes the old rail bridge, a sound freezes him. A single metallic click, unmistakable. A camera shutter. He turns. No one's there. The fog moves slow and thick. From the trees, two faint lights glimmer, hovering at chest height. Cole whispers a prayer he hasn't used in years. Somewhere in the woods, something answers with a low, deliberate breath. The church bell rings once, then twice, a sound that feels too heavy for morning. Elias walks through the cemetery behind the chapel, his boots sinking into soft earth. Graves lean under the weight of decades. Clara follows, carrying the journal. They stop at an unmarked patch where grass refuses to grow. This is where the prospector was hanged, she says. Elias kneels, brushes aside the dirt, and finds a broken fragment of rope embedded in the soil. The fibers crumble under his thumb. He imagines the shape of the man's last breath hanging in this very air, suspended between guilt and ground. The forest beyond the fence sways as if it remembers. At the cold, hollow archives, dust falls like slow snow through the air. Elias flips through brittle pages of mining records. The names blur. Boone, Dent, Cole. Then he finds it. Prospector unknown. Hanged by Miners' Committee, June 1904. Next to it, scrawled in fading ink, a final note. Body not recovered. He hears the faint scrape of a chair behind him. Hollow Sam stands there, silent. You think you're the first to see him? The old man rasps. We saw him too, right after the cave-in. The mine took his bones, but his eyes never stayed buried. Elias's hands tremble. Then what is he? Sam's lips crack into a bitter smile. Not what? Who? Elias drives the dirt road toward Hollow Creek. The tires crunch on gravel, and fog curls over the hood like smoke. The woods thicken. He parks near the old shaft entrance, the mouth of the mine gaping black. Inside, the air tastes of rust and old grief. He photographs the walls, flash after flash, until the light catches something unexpected. A boot print pressed deep into dried mud. Fresh. He lowers his camera, heart pounding. The shape of the print is wrong. Long, narrow, heelless. Another beside it. Then a third, leading into the dark. Elias steps forward, each click of his camera echoing like a heartbeat swallowed by stone. Clara waits by the creek, the journal open on her lap. She reads aloud the names of miners lost in the 1904 collapse. 19 men. The last entry bears no name, only a mark that looks like an eye carved into the paper. The wind rises, carrying the scent of wet iron. Across the water, something shifts. A figure half hidden among the pines, tall and still. For a heartbeat, Clara sees it clearly. The outline of a man draped in torn canvas, face pale and slick with mud. His eyes empty as glass, lock with hers. Then he's gone. The journal snaps shut in her trembling hands. That night, Elias and Clara meet in secret at the schoolhouse. The storm batters the roof. Lightning flares, freezing their faces in quick flashes. On the desk lies a map of the mines, the red cross marking the shaft where the body was never found. "If we dig, we'll find him," Elias says. "No," Clara answers, her voice barely audible over the thunder. "If you dig, he'll find you." The wind slams the windows open. Papers scatter like birds. In that sudden blast, Elias catches the faint smell of smoke and a voice whispering his name from nowhere. They turn toward the open doorway. The figure stands there, dripping with rain, as if it had never left the woods. The morning after the storm, the air smells of iron and rain. Elias wakes on the schoolhouse floor, the map soaked and torn, Clara gone. The door hangs open, creaking in the wind. He steps outside. The street is empty, but a single line of wet footprints leads toward the churchyard. Not Clara's. Too long, too wide. He follows them past the diner, past the blacksmith shop, until they fade into the mud near hollow Sam Dent's shack. The old man sits on his porch, watching the forest. "You stirred him, boy," Sam croaks without turning. He was sleeping quiet. Now he remembers. Elias swallows hard. Remembers what? Sam's eyes narrow. What you all did to him. Inside the shack, the air is thick with the smell of pipe smoke and kerosene. Old photographs hang crooked on the walls. Miners with blackened faces, pickaxes in hand. Sam taps one frame with his gnarled finger. "That's him," he whispers. Elias leans closer. The prospector's face is half hidden in the shadow of his hat, but his eyes shine even through the faded print. They blamed him for the collapse. Said he cut the supports for gold, but it weren't true. The owners made us dig too deep. Sam's voice cracks. "We buried him alive in the dark. Said it was justice. Only thing we did was feed the mountain something hungry." The wind moans through the boards like a sigh. As night falls, Sam lights another lantern. "He don't hunt strangers," he says. "He hunts the ones tied to that mine." Elias realizes the names. Cole, Dent, Boone are all there in the 1904 records. Bloodlines repeating their mistakes. "You mean my family?" he whispers. Sam nods slowly. Some debts don't die easy. Outside, thunder murmurs low. Sam's lantern flickers once, then goes out. Silence fills the shack, thick and absolute. Elias fumbles for matches, his breath quick and shallow. When the flame catches, Sam's chair is empty. Only his blanket remains, still warm in a trail of muddy footprints leading to the door. Elias stumbles through the fog toward the church, clutching the camera like a weapon. Inside, Clara waits, eyes red from tears. "Sam's gone," he tells her. She nods slowly. They always go when they've said too much. On the altar lies the journal, open to a page he's never seen. It's a drawing, not of a man, but of a shape made of twisted limbs and hollow eyes. Beneath it, the words, "When the last Boone returns to the mine, he'll see what the mountain kept." Clara closes the book. "He wants you to finish it," she says. Elias feels the weight of the camera grow heavier in his hands. as though the lens itself were pulling toward the woods. The bells begin to ring, slow, uneven, without a hand to pull the rope. The sound echoes down the valley, bouncing off the cliffs like a warning. Elias and Clara run outside. The fog parts briefly, revealing Hollow Creek shining like silver under the moon. And there, on the opposite bank, stands Sheriff Maynard Cole, coat-soaked, face pale. "He's coming," Cole says hoarsely. "He's already in town." Behind him, a shape emerges from the mist, taller than any man, its shoulders twisted, its face blank and gray. Elias raises his camera, hands shaking. The flash bursts white. When the light fades, both Cole and the figure are gone. Only the river remains, rippling quietly in the dark. Dawn breaks gray and sickly over Cold Hollow. The streets are empty now. Doors hang open, lamps still burning. Elias and Clara stand at the edge of Hollow Creek, staring toward the mine entrance. A low hum rises from the earth, steady, rhythmic, like a heartbeat buried too deep. "It's the shaft," Clara whispers. "He's calling us there." Elias shoulders his camera and steps forward. The fog parts, revealing the broken rails that lead straight into blackness. He knows this sound. He heard it once during the war, the rumble before a collapse. But this time, it feels alive. The air shivers with memory, and every echo carries his own name. Inside the shaft, darkness swallows the world. Their lantern throws trembling circles of light over the damp stone. Each step echoes like a drumbeat. Clara keeps close behind, whispering prayers half-remembered from childhood. "You don't have to see it," Elias says. "I do." The tunnel splits ahead, one path leading downward. The hum grows stronger, almost human now, a rasping breath between heartbeats. They follow it into a wide chamber. There, in the half-light, stands a wooden support beam cracked in half, the mark of an old collapse. At its base lies a miner's helmet, still gleaming faintly. Elias kneels and brushes the dust aside. A skull stares back, its empty sockets packed with dirt and coal. Elias lifts the skull gently, his fingers trembling. "He was here all along," he murmurs. The hum grows louder, vibrating through the floor. Clara gasps. The helmet shifts, sliding off as though pushed. Beneath it, carved into the skull's brow, is a symbol. A perfect circle with a slit through its center. An eye. The same mark from the journal. The lantern flickers violently, casting shadows that twist and crawl. The tunnel begins to tremble. "We have to leave," Clara pleads. But Elias doesn't move. He raises his camera and snaps a photo. The flash bursts white, and for one frozen second behind the skull, a figure stands, tall and motionless, staring straight at him. The light dies, plunging them into blackness. The hum becomes a voice, faint, deep, and wet with sorrow. "You left me." Elias turns, breath ragged. "Who are you?" The voice comes again, closer now. "You know my name." The earth shakes, stones fall from the ceiling. Clara grabs his arm. "Elias, please." But he's staring into the dark, eyes wide with recognition. "Boone," he whispers. "He was a boon," the voice answers. "I am." The walls shudder, a groan of rock and rage. The lantern shatters. In the brief flare, Elias sees the creature fully, his own face reflected in its hollow gaze. They run. The tunnel behind them collapses in slow thunder, each crash echoing like a heartbeat fading into silence. Clara stumbles, Elias catching her by the arm. They burst into the open air, coughing, coated in soot. The mine mouth smokes as though exhaling, The camera dangles from his hand, lens cracked, still warm. Clara looks back, whispering, "It wasn't haunting us, it was showing us." Elias stares at the photograph sliding from the camera. A final frame burned into the film. His own silhouette beside the creature, indistinguishable. The mountain sighs. The hum fading, but somewhere below, the faint click of a camera shutter answers back. That night, Elias cannot sleep. Every blink brings the afterimage of the flash, that pale face mirrored against his own. He sits at the table, staring at the photograph. Two shapes, same stance, same outline. He touches the film and feels warmth, as though it's breathing. Outside, thunder rolls over the ridge. Clara paces the room, whispering, "You have to destroy it." Elias shakes his head. He's not done. He rises, walks to the window, and sees something impossible. A faint light deep in the forest, blinking in slow, perfect rhythm. The flash of a camera. His camera, but it's still in his hands. The town sleeps under a sky that once stayed dark. Each few minutes, a white burst flashes from the woods, brief, soundless, deliberate. Elias and Clara step into the fog, following it. The air feels heavier the closer they come, thick with the scent of wet stone. On the trail, they find the sheriff's hat, soaked in mud. Then, half buried, his badge, split clean in two. Clara kneels beside it, crossing herself. "He went to stop it," she says softly. Elias raises his camera, instinctively snapping a photo. The flash cuts through the mist, and when it fades, there's a shape standing where the light had burned a second ago. Tall, still, waiting. Elias steps forward slowly, raising the camera like an offering. "You want to be seen," he whispers. The shape tilts its head, mimicking him. The fog wraps them both, the air charged and humming. Clara calls out, but her voice seems to fade before reaching him. "You're one of us," Elias says, trembling. "One of mine." The figure's mouth opens, not to speak, but to exhale a soft, endless breath that smells of coal and dust. The flash bulb explodes in his hand, glass raining to the ground. The light flares again, this time without his trigger. The creature takes another step, and its eyes, once empty, now reflect Elias perfectly. Clara pulls him back, screaming his name. The fog churns violently, swallowing the clearing. "He's not real," she cries. Elias turns to her, eyes wide, voice low and certain. "Neither am I." The forest erupts with sound, branches snapping, unseen footsteps circling them. The ground trembles. A dozen flashes ignite in the dark, as if 100 unseen cameras are firing at once. The air becomes blinding. Clara covers her face, shouting, "Stop!" When she looks again, Elias is gone. Only the camera remains, lying in the mud, lens cracked, but still pointed toward the hollow. From within the trees, a faint breath answers, slow, steady, alive. By dawn, the forest is silent. Clara stands at the edge of the hollow, the broken camera in her hands. She waits for the light to rise, but it never does. The valley remains trapped in shadow. She opens the film compartment, heart trembling. Inside are fresh negatives, undeveloped, though no film was loaded when he vanished. She holds one to the sky. Faintly, she sees Elias standing beside the figure, both looking straight into the lens. Behind them, the forest burns white with light. Clara drops the film into the stream, watching the image dissolve. But in the water's surface, for a breathless moment, she sees two reflections, hers and his, staring back. A week after the fog lifted, the town moves as if half asleep. No one mentions Elias Boone. The sheriff's badge is buried, the mine sealed. Clara teaches again, though her voice trembles when thunder rolls. On her desk lies the cracked camera, cleaned and still. She tells herself it's over, that some stories end with silence. But that night, as she grades papers alone, she hears the faint click of a shutter. She looks up. The camera sits where she left it. Still. Another click. The window curtains stir. She opens the back of the camera. Empty. Yet, when she peers inside the lens, she sees her own eyes staring back from deeper than glass. The next morning, Clara walks to the post office. The world feels quieter than it should. On the bulletin board, where Elias's first photograph once hung, a new one flaps gently in the breeze. Grainy, overexposed, but unmistakable. It shows the cold, hollow schoolhouse, its door wide open. In the doorway stand two silhouettes, shoulder to shoulder, their heads slightly bowed toward the camera. One is Elias, the other, her. Clara stares at it, heart hammering, unable to breathe. The postmaster steps outside, puzzled. Someone dropped it off this morning, he says. No name. She touches the edge of the photo. It's still wet. Wet. Clara takes the photograph home and pins it under lamplight. She studies it for hours, tracing every grain, every blur. Behind the two figures, something else lurks. Faint outlines of trees bending inward, forming the shape of an eye. The air in her room thickens. The light flickers. On the table, the camera begins to hum softly. She steps back, whispering Elias's name. The shutter moves once, then again. Her breath clouds the air. Slowly, she raises her hand toward the lens. For an instant, she feels warmth on her fingertips, like skin, like breath, before everything goes still. Thunder rolls over Cold Hollow again. The townsfolk wake to a light spreading through the valley. Not sunrise, but the harsh, pulsing white of 1,000 camera. Flashes echoing from the woods. The sound comes in waves, mechanical and alive. Dogs howl. Church bells stutter. By dawn, the fog returns, thick and unmoving. When the sheriff's men search Clara's cabin, they find only her chalkboard, her chair, and the photograph developed perfectly, lying on the table. In it, 3 figures now stand in the schoolhouse doorway. Elias, Clara, and something taller behind them, its hand resting gently on their shoulders. Years later, tourists find Cold Hollow a ghost town, its streets swallowed by ivy. In the county museum, a single glass case displays the last artifact recovered from the ruins, Elias Boone's camera. The curator warns visitors not to touch it. Still, people lean close, drawn by something in the glass. Inside the cracked lens, a faint image always flickers, 2 figures standing in the fog, waiting. Each year, a new photograph appears on the museum's doorstep, unmarked, always the same. The forest, the creek, the camera, and in every one, the same pale eyes stare straight through the frame, as if the mountain itself has learned to take its own picture.